Hi, this is Annie from the ADHD Minimalist, and today I found an old video that I made several months ago, and this is actually one of the first videos I ever made, so you'll have to give me a little bit of slack. But I was talking about my children's bedrooms that we remodeled in the monochrome style and how this monochrome bedroom helped their ADHD. So there was a lot of good information in this film, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. And I hope you'll just ignore the fact that I have trouble looking the camera in the eye. About a year ago, I decided to do a monochrome experiment in my daughter's bedroom. This was partly inspired by the fact that my son just threw a bunch of stuff out of his room when he was 10, and he said that he didn't want to have extra stuff in his room that he didn't use and that he didn't like, and that he felt much better with a clean, simpler room with just the stuff he loved. So that was kind of like the first stage of this experiment, that I noticed a big change in him when we got rid of all the excess stuff and he didn't have a lot of toys in there anymore, just his favorites and only the clothes that he wore. And we got rid of some furniture so he had more floor space. My daughter has a big stuff problem. She doesn't ever like to get rid of anything. I would help her pick up a room, and in 3 days it was just as bad again. So I decided that we would try to do like a minimalist monochrome experiment in her bedroom and see if this would help her. So I had some ideas. I thought that it would help her be more organized, that it would help her concentrate better, that it would help her feel calmer in her room. I was hoping it would help her want to spend time in her room. She didn't even want to be in her room. I was hoping that she would be able to pick up her room by herself after we had organized it, and that she would be able to do homework in her room, because she didn't want to do homework in her bedroom because it was way too distracting. She had flowered wallpaper on one wall and bright turquoise wallpaper on another wall and books and stuff. All of her shelving was open and she could see everything all the time. This overwhelmed her brain. Like, my daughter has an all-white monochrome bedroom, which I originally tried to convince her to paint everything light green, but she wanted white. So white is quite easy way to go monochrome because most everything off the shelf comes in white. My son's room is sort of a monochrome theme too. It's black and white. The reason I started making the bedrooms like this was because my children have ADHD, and I wanted to see if a monochrome bedroom would help them feel calmer. Since we remodeled their bedrooms, I feel like they've been in their rooms a lot more. My daughter asked to do her homework in her room yesterday. She refused to do it in the living room where there's lots of distractions, and she wanted me to come down and sit in her bedroom and shut the door, which is exactly why I wanted to have a calmer bedroom. My son has also been doing homework in his room. He used to refuse to do homework in his room. And my daughter, she now knows where to put things back, because when we reorganized her room, we gave everything a home. So when she gets out all her toys and all her stuff, she has a lot of colors in there when the Legos are out and her craft things are out in her room. And then when you put it away, it's white except for a few stuffed animals. And this seems to work really well for her. Before, when she had really colorful wallpaper and she had too many things in her room, she couldn't handle it. Like, she didn't want to be in there at all. So she would just throw stuff on the floor and never pick it up, and she didn't know where it went. If you want to know how the experiment went, my daughter's been in her room for quite a while now, and I have noticed a lot of positive change. We did homework in her room yesterday. She wanted to be in there and shut the door. Before that, she refused to do homework in her room. My son has also started doing homework in his room since we redecorated his room. Before that, he refused to do homework in his room because it was just too distracting. And my daughter's been able to pick up her own things much easier after we got rid of at least a third to a half of her stuff that was in her old room. And then we made sure that everything that she wanted to have had a home in her new room. And her room is not big. It's an incredibly small room. We had space for everything she really wanted to keep, and it all got a home, and now she can actually put her stuff away, which is wonderful. She's not yelling and screaming at me when I ask her to pick up her room anymore, because it's not such a huge project. When kids have bedrooms where they don't know where things go, maybe mommy organized it and they don't really understand where the stuff is supposed to go, and they have too many toys, and a pile of mixed toys is just overwhelming for children to try to pick up, because you have to sort through it all, and maybe it's 10 different kinds, like maybe it's Legos mixed with Barbies mixed with blocks mixed with cars, and they have to sort all of those things out and then get it in the right box or container, and it's just too much. Asked her to get rid of some categories of toys so that like the whole category went bye-bye. That way she didn't have as many toys to get mixed up. So she mainly has Legos in her room now, and she has craft stuff in her eraser collection and lots of stuffed animals. She likes to draw and to do like beadwork and that sort of thing. So those are sort of toys for her. So anyway, it was much easier for her to organize things. She could concentrate on her homework better in her room. We made like a desk where she could have a homework station or a station to do crafts, and this works really well. It's a secretary desk where, you know, the kind that have the desk leaf that goes up and down and you can shut it. I read that desks that don't get cleared off and the homework doesn't get done at bedtime, it makes kids anxious when they're trying to go to bed, that there's things that aren't finished. So especially kids that are extra anxious, like that have maybe autism or ADHD or other sensory processing issues, it's better to have a desk that has the leaf that you can just close at bedtime if they need to do homework, and have a desk in their room. That way they don't have to see it, and then they don't have to think about what's not done when they're trying to calm down and go to sleep. So we got our new desk. Her old desk was an open desk, and she would just put stuff on it all the time. If I cleaned it off when we cleaned her room, it was just as gross 2 days later. She would just put everything on it, and she did never use it for homework except for 1 day or 2 days after I cleaned it off. Yes, she does spend more time in her room now. And I think like the idea, if you have a really small room, that a monochrome theme can be a good solution, because it makes her room look bigger. Like, she used to live in this room and we just felt like it was a claustrophobic space and it was really too small. But as soon as everything turned white, it feels bigger and she spends way more time in there. And I do feel like she's calmer in general, because she doesn't feel like she has a bunch of stuff that's stressing her out in her bedroom. She would seriously like get all of her clothes out of her drawers and just throw them on the floor in the mornings if she couldn't find what she wanted. And that's when I did the traditional like fold your clothes and pile them on top of each other, you know, like everybody is taught to do. Then I changed over to the Marie Kondo style of folding clothes for her room so she could find stuff, because she would just mix up her clean clothes with her dirty clothes and throw them in a pile on the floor. And if I didn't go in her room right after she left for school and pick up the clean clothes, they just got smashed and walked on, and I had to rewash everything. So this was really a big problem, that she would just panic when she couldn't find what she wanted in the morning and throw everything out of her drawers. When I started folding things in the way Marie Kondo does, so it stands up in her drawers and she can easily see what she has in there, I make sure that if she has a pattern on the shirt or a pattern on the pants, that I put that up so that she can see that right away. I think Marie Kondo says to like fold it into the inside, but I put all the prints and the, like if it's a special pocket or something, I tried to fold it so it sticks up. So that way she doesn't have to like guess what it is or pull more than one thing out. She sees exactly what she wants and just gets that out, and that was a complete game changer for me. I do way less laundry